Last Sunday, after recording an increase in the confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Ghana, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo issued a few new directives to the effect that all entry and exit points to and from Ghana be closed down. This afternoon, we are coming to you from Ghana's border on the west with Ivory Coast to see for ourselves to what extent the officers here are implementing this particular directive.
Well, as we all know, the directive was to the whole nation, and as an institution, we were also involved in trying to implement the directives. And so all the borders in the western region, especially Elubo and Hafasini, were directed to comply with the directives. And since then, they have been doing that. They have stopped all human trafficking to the country. And even with cargo, there are not supposed to be any passengers in the cargo vehicles, only the cargo and then the driver. So they are complying with that. Apart from that, we have a host of unapproved routes. And so the border patrol officers have been directed to make sure that they seal the unapproved routes, which they are doing very well. Well, no matter how many and who wants to come, they will be stopped from coming. I mean, the order is that our borders are closed. It doesn't mean that people will not attempt to come. I mean, human beings by their nature may have some other activities they want to perform in the country. But since the borders are sealed, whoever tries to come will be stopped from entering the country. And so those who have attempted have not been allowed to enter. Well, the new things you see are basically the PPEs that have been distributed to all of them. And we are expecting that most of them will have their masks on. We are expecting that they also have their gloves, which is also expected to protect them. And we have also given them funds for them to use to buy vermiculite buckets and soap so that they will be constantly washing their hands. Because they've already made us very clear that hand washing is the most efficient. We have adequate numbers. The whole issue is also evolving. So as it evolves, then we step up the kind of equipment and facilities that they need to protect themselves. So they have adequate numbers currently. I just came back from Accra yesterday. We were supplied some which I brought and I've just distributed to Takrady. Elubo will have their own tomorrow. We ourselves too have had our supplies. So as it evolves, we'll increase the quantities that they need. But for now, I think that they have adequate numbers. And you shouldn't forget also that whilst we are at the front line, entering any point of entry, you need first of all to meet the port health authorities. And so they are the first line of contact so far as the health issues are concerned. So when it comes to health, we always defer these issues to port health. They will meet the individuals first when they are cleared before we will get nearer to them. And so far as port health are catered for, then I think in some sense we are also okay with what we have. Well, with the human beings, it has been agreed that anybody who enters the country will be quarantined for 14 days. So that process is ongoing for everybody else. With the cargo, that is not our purview. The cargo is the purview of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Customs Division. And I want to suspect that they will be taking measures to make sure that they disinfect the cargo when they arrive to ensure that it doesn't carry any virus to affect any other individual in the country. Well, I think that I can say so far Western region is concerned, we are very safe. We have adequate numbers of officers who have tried to seal all the unapproved routes. The border itself are closed, and because of that, we have more numbers to distribute across the unapproved routes. So we are getting others also to join the border patrol team to enhance the security at the borders. And so I can confidently say we are very safe.
So we have so far been to the main border that borders Ivory Coast on the west, which is in Elubo. Of course, aside that, we've been to several unapproved routes that people use to enter the country Ghana. We've been to Ghana Nungwa already, and this is Cocoa Town. And as you can see behind me, there is hardly any movement on the river tunnel right here. But today we are glad to have the commander, the Western Regional Commander for Ghana Immigration Services right here with me. He's here to inspect how his men on the grounds are implementing the President's directive. Sir, good afternoon. Welcome to Western Region Focus.
Yeah, I think I'm very much impressed. And I'm also very happy that the community members are also cooperating with them. Because as I've said earlier on, community engagement is very important for any border closure. So far as the community members do not understand the essence of the closure, then they will try to make the work difficult and undermine the directives. And I think that so far it has been very good. My men are on the ground. And the committee members have just talked to a few of them, and they have also confirmed that they are aware of the directives and they are cooperating for it to be enforced. I think to a very large extent, a closure of a border means a closure. And in all respects, it's more prudent to not to allow them to cross the border to the other side. You shouldn't also forget that some may try to use the means of going for farm produce to also smuggle individuals. So the idea is that the border has been closed, and I think that that is what we wish to maintain until such time that there's a need to open up the borders.
Yeah, now we have adopted a strategy of patrolling for 24 hours. Normally, we don't do 24 hours patrol in the bush, but because the main border is being closed, people are attempting to use the unapproved route. That is why we have mounted 24-hour patrols along. Yeah, we have received some items from headquarters yesterday concerning about the PPEs. And we have been using it as much as possible to make sure that we ourselves are protected and will not be infected. Yeah, initially it was very, very difficult until the day before yesterday, the chief of Elubo issued a statement asking everybody in the community to help with the security officers to be able to implement the directives of the president. Yeah, some people understand, but some still don't understand. That's why we are seeing people making an attempt to cross, and those are the people we are preventing from crossing the border. Yeah, we have done some arrests so far. On Tuesday, we have arrested 20 people. On Wednesday, that was yesterday, we arrested another 3 people.
The president's directive banned human traffic, but exempted cargo or goods and services. So we are still clearing goods. Yes. The directive is that the truck drivers and their mates, they go through with the goods. So far we have experienced a reduction in the volume of goods passing. I believe, most of them are traders who go up and down. And once the traders have not been exempted from the human traffic ban, obviously we experience a reduction in the volume of goods that pass through. But all the same, the border is still open. And almost every day we do export imports.